when you've had Avery coming off the bench, but have you considered this specific matchup for that or other things when you're thinking about how you're going to replace him?
Yeah, definitely, looking at all angles of it. And, I'm not going to release my lineup until 30 minutes prior. But Malik will be a big part of tonight's game.
Figured. With Utah, Frank, the way that they play is pretty specific. Is that something that it benefits you having a couple of extra days to prepare for? And if so, what do you think the key is for them?
Yeah, I mean, they have dynamic playmakers on the perimeter with a dynamic roller, and they obviously use a ton of action to create that, that situation and trigger their blender, their driving kick game where the ball is really moving and, they're bombing a ton of threes. So, hopefully the practices that we had over the last couple of days helped us prepare for that.
Frank, you mentioned the renewed spirit, I guess, with this group, and that's been evident over the last couple of days talking to some of the guys. Obviously, there's some positivity out of that Warriors game. At the same time, you guys have lost, I think, is it 7 of 9? What is it about that's unique about this group that allows it to find sort of that energy and that positivity and maybe something to latch onto, even though the results of late have not been there?
Well, I think it starts with our leader, LeBron, and Anthony, but more so in this instance about LeBron really believing in this group and, lifting guys up, knowing that we looked at opportunities to improve our team. But at the end of the day, we feel good about our group. And, the engagement that he brings to the table every day is really something that's, always impressed me about LeBron James, the attentiveness, the positive attitude, the spirit, the engagement of everything we're trying to do. And, he's been great, during this stretch, despite the wins not being there. He believes in our process and, the way we do things. And, if you do things the right way with a talented group, hopefully you have a belief that you can turn a corner.
Frank, think back on the game you played against the Jazz a month ago. I mean, obviously you guys looked really competent, and there was that big play with Russ dunking on Rudy. Sort of looking back at that game, I know probably you're studying some things you did well, but is there any sort of motivation just to kind of get back to that competitive level and kind of show maybe like this is what we were a month ago, we can get back to that?
Absolutely. But honestly, we really have a short-term mindset of trying to just win this one game. You know what I mean? And that'll set the stage for, what is to come next. But it was encouraging to watch the film of this last Jazz game that we played, where we defended at a really high level and held them under 100 points. And, hopefully we can do the same tonight.
Frank, Stanley, of course, was key down the stretch of that game. Maybe we think about the offensive side, but I wonder, how do you like to deploy him defensively in terms of bigger players versus guards, and how do you see him on the perimeter against guys that are smaller at times?
Yeah, we just got great versatility defensively. He has obviously the foot speed to guard smaller guys, but the upper body strength, to bang with bigger guys. And, when you have a guy like that, you can put him on multiple matchups and, obviously do a lot of switching as well. But he elevates our toughness, is the biggest way to put it.
Frank, you mentioned LeBron's engagement over this stretch. Is there an example behind the scenes from the last few days or since the trade deadline that you could share that showed you that there's an example of that level of engagement?
Honestly, it's not one day. It's every day that we meet and we start talking about our work, whether it's the film work or the practice or a walkthrough. He's the first voice to ask a question or to own a mistake or to point out something on the backside of what we were correcting on the film. Just to be engaged and to not allow a negative energy to be around our group, even though there's frustration about us not winning. So I mean, I think it's just the consistency of it that's most impressive.
Coach, do you pay a lot of attention, just out of curiosity, to the standings, or is that something
Not after losses. I tend to not look at it too much after losses, but I did look today, just see where we're at. Again, we're 6 games out of the top 6. which is a big number. You know, can we make that up? I don't know, but we have an opportunity to be 5 after tonight if we focus on getting this W. So I did talk to our team about that.
Dave on Zoom.
Frank, what do we know about Avery Bradley's knee, and will there be the need for him to get it evaluated over the break or anything like that?
No, it's just swelling. They do not believe it's going to be anything long term, and we're hopeful that the time off during the break will be enough to get him back.
Finish up with David Locke.
What is it going to take for you to get back to the defensive kind of numbers that you had the last 2 years when you were second and third in the league defensively compared to what you've been so far this year?
Well, I don't know if we're going to get quite to those numbers because of the lineups we're playing. You know, we're playing more of an offensive brand of basketball this year in terms of AD being the lone big out there. We had a lot of situations where, you know, if we wanted to be at our ultimate best defensively, it's with an elite defensive center and Anthony as the 4, 2 7-footers out there swallowing everything up at the rim. You know, with the way this year's team is constructed, it's best to play Anthony at the 5. So we still can get to the point where, you know, we're a dominant defense, you know, but it's just going to be constructed differently than the way we've had it the last 2 years.
Thanks, Frank.